Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to use filters to view or analyze only part of the data in your Excel sheet which match with values in one or more columns. For this particular session, we are going to use the sales forecast and sales report template, which can be used by individual sales executives and their managers. Now, each sheet is for a particular month. Let's go through this, and at the end of the session, if you like it, use it or modify it to suit your requirement. So let's first do a little bit of housekeeping in the form of formatting the sheet. The first column is serial number, and next is the sales executive ID. So either you can have name or sales executive's initials, date of the entry of sales forecast, customer quote reference. We will see what does quote reference mean, quote value, and so on. So let's first do a little bit of formatting. We have a date column here. So I'm going to select this range and right click on it, go to format, click on format cells. In number tab, we'll click on date and select the last category of format of date. So we have formatted the date column. Now let's see if there is any other date column in this particular template. And yes, there is expected date of closure. Now I'm going to select this range and hit F4 on the keyboard. When I do that, it will redo the last formatting done. So we have just done the date formatting. It is going to do the same date formatting and apply it in this particular range. So I'm going to press F4 now on my keyboard. Okay, so if you see here, this particular cell has been applied a date format. These are the three value columns. So I'm going to apply the currency format and reduce to decimal places, because we know that when you apply the currency format, by default it gives 2 decimal places. For month, we will use number format. Right click, format, number, and remove decimal places and click OK. I think the rest of the columns are, this is general format is fine. Status. For this particular column, we are going to use data validation function, and I'm going to show you a trick now that I have hidden some rows in which I am entering data validation source or list, which I'm going to use for this particular column. So I have selected this range. Go to data tab, click on data validation, and once again click on data validation. In the settings, we will select under allow list and give source as this particular source, because we want standardized input of status for each line in sales forecast. That's why we are giving specific options to be selected, because based on this we can evaluate the sales forecast or the sales report of various sales executives. For input message, we are going to type and I'm going to copy this because I will paste the same message in error message 2. So this was the input message and here is the error message, and I'm going to click OK. So here you see when the cell is selected, you get the input message to guide the user of this sheet. Now you may choose to keep these rows displayed or hidden. If you keep them, the user will be able to see what each option in this particular column means and will use them accordingly. However, eventually the sales team will get used to it, and you can hide these rows by selecting them, right click on those and hide. Alright, so let me unhide some rows in which I have entered a sample data for us to try out the filter options. And here are some empty rows which John will use for additional deals as and when it comes his way to put in the forecast report. And at the bottom we have the totals row, which is the last line of this particular report. Here I would like to give you a tip related to the AutoSum formula and its behavior when you add row just above it. Let's say, for example's sake, we will copy this information here and paste it, assuming that John has got 2 more deals. In fact, add one more here. So we'll add this. John has utilized all the empty rows over here and he wants to add one more row to add the next deal in this forecast report. Now just watch the formula here. The formula is F10 to F22, which is from this row to the last row. And when he enters additional row here, I have just used Alt IR and look at the formula. The formula remains the same. It has not changed. So when you insert a row just above the sum formula, it does not change the formula. Ideally, it should have taken this particular row, but it doesn't happen so. So here is the tip. Always insert a row before you consume the last row above the totals formula. So let me undo this part and I'm going to undo the last entry, and before John does the last entry in the last row, he is going to insert a row. Now the formula is correct. It has considered even the last row, and then he will go on adding the entry.